Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. I'm Peter Lojak. He's Mike Brenner. We are previewing Week 1 of the NFL preseason, the early games. Today is Monday, August 8th. Mike Brenner, we got 6 games on Thursday. I have not made any bets on these games yet. I've started my research, though. I wouldn't bet these until Wednesday at the earliest, but I've definitely got my thoughts starting to come together on some of these games. What's your take on the early games of Week 1? You going to bet them? You researching them? You have any opinions on them?
I really don't, Pete. I'm not betting it. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't know that there's a lot of value in Week 1. I'm sure there is, but where it's at, I don't have that. I mean, when I look at every line's damn near 3, every single line almost. Yes. So that tells me that they're kind of shooting in the dark themselves, I think.
There's definitely some professional syndicates that make a killing on the NFL preseason. I kind of know what they do. They definitely they also don't make their bets until later on and very close to a kickoff as well. So a lot of times those late line moves are indicative of big syndicate action. I've looked at obviously when you're handicapping up preseason games, you want to look at the starting quarterbacks, who the starting quarterbacks are going to be, and the depth charts, and of course the game plans for each team.
Now, have you found in the years past, Pete, that Week 1 there just wasn't a whole lot of meat and potatoes because starting quarterbacks are going to have very limited time if they get any snaps?
What do you mean by meat and potatoes?
Well, as far as
betting value?
Yeah.
A ton of betting value in Week 1. A ton of betting value in Week 1. You have to know where to look. I've only started to look at the Thursday games. Some interesting stuff. The most interesting game to me is the Jets, right?
Yeah, I looked at that.
Geno Smith they signed Fitzpatrick, right? So Geno Smith is not going to be the starter. Yeah. Presumably, he has a bit of a chip on his shoulder and is probably going to get some decent playing time here. Now, I haven't found out.
I like that.
I haven't found out how much he's going to play or when he's going to play. On the other side, the backups for Jacksonville, Chad Henne and Brandon Allen. Chad Henne does, of course, have NFL experience.
Getting older too, though, old Chad Henne. He's
right.
Now
the Jets have appeared to my eye to have more depth on defense, but I'm thinking that it's possible that the Jets could be a good play here. Also possible that the over 36.5 could be a good play. That's the first game.
You know what I got to add to that,
either.
Pete?
Yeah, what?
Another factors in there is Rex Ryan. When he used to be with the Jets, he used to talk about Week 1 and 2 of preseason. We're not even trying to win that game. I think that was more bullshit, trying to psychologically get into the other heads. This is what he was saying. We're not even trying to win that game. We're trying to figure some things out. He's not there. I like what the Jets are doing. I think you might be onto something with Geno Smith with that chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, it's not about so much what the team wants to do. It's about what the players want to do.
Yeah.
Are there players who are? I mean, most of these players obviously the backups are playing for spots on the roster. But I'm thinking about the over in that one, and also the Jets minus 2.5. Although that's I definitely haven't bet either of those. Also interesting is the Denver-Chicago game. Right, Denver has a quarterback competition. Chicago does not. So we might want to take a shot with Denver plus the points in that one. Not exactly.
Well, that
sure,
was going to be my next question. Not really question, but statement. There's a lot of teams that are going to have the quarterback, they're going to have the competition to see who's going to be number one. Those are the games that I would be more apt to go ahead and think is a sharp edge.
Yeah, they can be. Although, of course, the backups for the other teams, as we know, are also, playing their hearts out as well. So it's not always the case, but it's definitely something to consider. Another thing I'm thinking about maybe a shot with the over in Washington, Atlanta. The Atlanta does not have good defensive depth, especially in the secondary, and Washington's, their offensive starters are most of them are heading into the third year of the system. So, the system in general, I think, is coming together in Washington. Relatively low total, 37. I'm thinking about the over in that one as well, Washington and Atlanta.
Yeah, in that one also, I think the Falcons' defense, Pete, is going to be better than people think this year. And again, I'm just leaning on Dan Quinn going into his second or third season now, and he's building the talent that he wants and who he has brought in. So. I think that defense is going to be a hell of a lot better than
you might be right, and definitely that's the kind of thing where late information will be very
absolutely.
telling.
Now I was looking at another one, the Saints. I thought the Saints might be a one to slip in there, getting 3 points against the Patriots. Yeah, 3.5 now. Yeah, I do kind of like that. I've got that one circled as well, and I also had the Jets, so that's. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. I haven't seen any information on how much Garoppolo is going to play here. He is probably going to be the starter for Week 1. So, I think it's pretty up in the air for the Pats. And the Saints, they didn't have many selections in the draft. They're not playing a lot of youngsters. I would lean the Saints at plus 3.5 for sure as well.
And just to touch on that Broncos game also, it's true the Bears are settled at that position. But I was reading today where Trevor Siemian, the quarterback for the Broncos, they say is really having a really good camp. So you
Yeah.
got him. He might have a chip on his shoulder because
Sure.
he's been there before
Sure.
Sanchez. He's like, wait a
Absolutely.
minute, I'm liking that, Pete.
Yeah, definitely. And then the other game that's interesting to me is Carolina and Baltimore.
Oh.
Carolina, the backup, of course, is Derek Anderson, who is a legit NFL quarterback. I mean, if Cam Newton goes down, Carolina will probably still be a formidable team. to
And they
have to deal
showed
with.
that 2 years ago when he
Yeah.
went down. He stepped right in there and did a hell of a job. Yeah, I was thinking about that one as well. And that's one line that's not set at 3. That was at like 1.5. Yeah.
So he'll get some reps, and on the other side, the Ravens' backup is Ryan Mallett, who also has NFL experience. So I'm thinking maybe a shot with. And Carolina, though, they have a lot of depth at wide receiver and on defense. So I'm thinking about Carolina plus the points there, and maybe a shot with the over at 36.5.
Okay, yeah, I'm not going to do anything on that one. And looking down a little further, I'm going down to the Lions and the Steelers.
Oh, I haven't looked at that side. I've only looked at Thursday games.
Oh, okay, all right. I went ahead and broke down the other ones too. Thursday.
Okay, what else do you have to tell us?
There was the Lions and the Steelers. I thought that would be a good opportunity because, again, the Lions are out to prove something. They're looking for this wide receiving core, and I got a feeling Stafford's going to play a little bit more in week 1 preseason than people think. So I was thinking Lions because they're getting 3 going into Pittsburgh, but just a thought. But again, we'll stick to Thursday.
You might have something there. Yeah, so for the Thursday games, the things that I'm looking at right now are I'm thinking about the over in Jacksonville Jets.
Are you going to make this like an official pick?
No,
Oh,
no
okay.
official. I've got no bets on the table yet, and
Gotcha.
I won't be making any bets probably until Wednesday at the earliest, and then a bunch on Thursday. But I'm thinking about the Jets, Jacksonville over, thinking about the Jets minus 2.5, thinking about the Panthers, and
Are you ready for some football, though,
I
Pistol
think
Pete? Because
I
I'm
am.
feeling
I think
some
I
low
am.
energy
Yeah,
in
yeah,
this
yeah.
room, and it's time
And
to crank
I'm
it up.
Thinking about, let me see. Yeah, and I'm definitely thinking about the Saints. The Saints at plus 3.5.
I'm really liking that, and I'm liking Broncos too, and Jags. I like the Jags.
Yeah, you like the Jags.
No, I'm going against them.
Oh,
2.5.
right.
Hell yeah, I'm
Taking
going
the
all
Jets,
over
you
them.
mean.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking as well. All right, Mike Brenner, you have any other thoughts before we wrap this one up?
Well, the Buccaneers and Eagles, that was another interesting game, just real quick. I'm anxious to see what the Eagles do as far as their, revamping everything, and I think quietly they might be a little bit better than people think.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say right there.
The Bucs and the Eagles.
Bucks, I don't think they're going to do a whole lot of anything this year. I think that team is going to be hurting.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, the Eagles are trying to. Yeah, we didn't actually touch on that one. The Eagles are definitely looking to. To prove themselves, and Tampa Bay has the quarterback battle, of course, for battling for the number 2 spot. Glennon and Griffin, and Glennon, of course, does have a starting experience as well.
Glennon's another one has a chip on his shoulder. He had a really, really good year, and then when he got demoted, went back down. So I think that he could be.
I would be on this one.
Coming
I'd
out
be
firing.
thinking about Tampa Bay plus 3 and maybe a shot with the over 37.5. Although I'd have to get a lot more.
Now,
information
typically
on
in
that
week
one.
1 of preseason, Pete, have you found years past have you seen a lot of over trendings or unders? Or
No, it's about. I mean, obviously the totals are significantly lower. The totals, for week 1 are 36, 37. Then they'll creep up for week 2. Then they'll be, close to NFL level for week 3, and then they'll come down for week 4. So the totals are posted are much lower. But as far as the results, it's about 50-50. There's some that can be great overplays, and some that can be.
You know what I thought was interesting? The Hall of Fame game, which was canceled.
Yeah.
You had got that at 36, and I think that closed out at 33, if I'm correct.
Closed much lower, yeah.
And-
so that was looking like the under was going to be good, but of course it was canceled. But yeah, as far as week 1 is concerned, no, I'm definitely not automatically looking at unders at all, even though the totals are much lower. It's basically 50-50 in my experience as far as the way the totals go.
And probably one of the most important tools as we're talking about football is where to play, where to line shop and get the best lines available, because college football lines and NFL lines, you're going to find different and better values at different books. So open yourself up a couple accounts, okay? Sportsbook Review Guide, check it out.
All right, sounds good. That wraps up our early look at the Thursday games. We might be back later on this week, closer to a kickoff, with some official picks. We'll see.
We might be.
Yeah, I don't know what's on the schedule. We might be, though.
Do your research before you bet. Check out our ratings guide to see which books have the best ratings and sign-up bonuses. Open up several accounts. Shop for lines at sbrodds.com. Always be ahead of the game.